Take it away, Nicole.
Awesome. Okay. Can I share my screen?
Oh, here, let me let you in on that. No, that's not it. Boy, it's been a while since I've held a Zoom meeting. I'm out of practice. There we go. Can you get it?
I think, oh yeah, let me. Okay, can y'all see that, my screen? Yeah, okay. Awesome, well, yeah, so I left a lot of time today for Q&A towards the end, because this is just gonna be kind of like a pretty overview. It's not getting specifically, I'll talk about certain platforms, but it's hard to dive into each platform on a presentation, just so they all have their own different functionalities within the platform. So I just wanted to kind of share best practices and go over some of the platforms and just some crazy statistics, just because social media is such an integrated part of our lives. But I think, we know that, but we kind of forget to use that in our business. So I just really wanted to kind of start there and work our way through. And if you have any questions too along the way, feel free to pop those in the chat, and I'll try and keep an eye on that. But also too, I've left a good bit of time at the end for any Q&A that we'll have. So, okay. So I gave a brief introduction when we first started, but I'll just go over this again if you guys, if I haven't met you. I lived in Swain County for 10 years. My husband and I had a farm out there. We're in Hood River now, but we had a small farm and brewery. And so during that time, I did all the marketing things because, business owners, we do all the things. So social media, events, website design, all of that. We had a pretty small budget. Organic vegetables don't make a ton of profit. So I really use social media a lot. That's how I got a lot of our traction and growth within the area. And then after we closed the farm, I went and worked at a digital marketing agency and worked with brands like Venus Williams and Remax. So I learned all of those tools and strategies that digital marketing agencies were using. And I decided to branch out on my own and start my own agency in 2016. So now I provide marketing services, coaching, and do-it-yourself courses to businesses nationwide. A pretty fun podcast where I interview entrepreneurs. And I'm actually also a contributing art writer to Entrepreneur Magazine. In my free time, you'll find me camping in the woods with my family and likely a glass of wine. So, and I wanted to start out with these social media stats because they're just crazy. Even as someone who does social media like every day, they still kind of make me surprised. So as of this year, there's 3.78 billion social media users worldwide. The average person has an account on more than 9 different social media networks, and they spend an average of 2 hours and 23 minutes per day on social media. So that's telling me, in looking at these stats, that people are there, they're scrolling, they're researching, they're connecting. So it's such a great tool to use for our business. 50% of consumers say they will follow brands on social media to learn about new products or services. 76% of American consumers purchase a product after seeing a brand social post. And then 91% of followers visit the brand's website or app. 89% will buy from the brand, and 85% will recommend the brand to a family or friend. So that's awesome. Like, they are there, they want to support, they want to buy, they're looking to purchase. So you might be thinking, well, there's so many different platforms, so how can you cut through the noise so that, they find you on social media? And that the key to that is to meet them where they are. Like, I talk to a lot of business owners, especially in my coaching clients, they're trying to be on all of the platforms when that really doesn't necessarily need to happen. We don't have to waste our time, trying to find them, on Twitter when they're hanging out on Pinterest. So that's really a key part of being able to connect with them. And I have this graph up, and it kind of, on the next slide, I'll kind of break it down just quicker. It'll show you the kind of demographics of who is on what platform. So that could really help too. You know, if you're going for the younger crowd, that's going to be like YouTube and TikTok and Instagram. You know, if it's like older, 50 and plus, Gen X, that's going to be like Facebook. They're on there connecting, and that's one of the only platforms that they're really comfortable with. So it's just kind of like thinking about who they are, you know, where they're hanging out at, like what they're struggling with, like what images and, you know, content that you can use to catch their attention, and then kind of like engage with them and start that relationship. Because as we saw from that previous stat, once you kind of catch their relationship and, you know, their attention and start that relationship, they'll go to your website, they'll go learn more, you know, they'll make a purchase, they'll tell their friends and family. So it's really like just such a great way to be able to connect with potential and current customers that we have. So this is what I was saying too. I could kind of like put the numbers and broke it down a little easier. So Facebook is, you know, it's still like the #1 social media platform by far. But it's a lot like everybody's on there, but that is more like Gen X and boomers. You know, it's a first social media platform. So they're looking for information, latest news, they're connecting with friends. Instagram's a younger audience, that like 18 to 35 crowd, very visual. It started off as like a platform for photographers, and that's kind of evolving as well. They recently just came out and said that they want to focus more on videos. So they're going to start moving to more like a video only platform, but they'll still have static posts, but they're going to emphasize the video more. Stories are increasing. Those are the little circles at the top of the screen. And shopping is pretty popular on Instagram, that you can set up your shop directly with Instagram so they can buy straight from the platform. So it just makes that even more seamless for them to buy. LinkedIn is more business to business. Really professional, kind of like that networking and researching kind of platform. So if that's your crowd, you know, if say you're an attorney and you're looking for, you know, if like you're a business attorney or something like that, and like all of your clients own businesses, LinkedIn would be like a great platform to concentrate on. Pinterest, the majority is women, and they are looking for inspiration and ideas, and they are looking for purchasing decisions. And it's very visual as well. You create different boards of pictures and quotes and things like that. So if that is your demographic, that'd be great too. TikTok, relatively newish out of all of these platforms. Definitely like the younger crowd, millennials, Gen Z, which is even after the millennials. Like short video clips, you've probably seen them. They're pretty funny. People are crazy creative. So if that's who you're targeting, like that younger crowd, you know, a lot of big brands kind of go after TikTok to get influencers with big followers, kind of, you know, utilize it that way. And then Twitter. Twitter's been around for a long time too. It's a lot of millennials as well. I think it's 80% millennials, and they go there for their news. And they have really short text posts called tweets. So if that's, you know, your kind of thing too, and that Twitter's kind of, again, like I said, a news outlet. So it's constantly having different tweets go up. I think the lifetime of a tweet is like 6 minutes or something. So you have to put a lot of content on there. So that's just kind of an overview. And there are other ones. You might have heard of Clubhouse, which is also relatively new. It's all audio only. And you can't record, so it's real time, which is pretty interesting. YouTube is considered social media, so we all know about YouTube. So if you have like really educational content that people are looking, you know, to solve a problem or how to do, or a tutorial, like that would be a great place. It's its own search engine, so you could really utilize that platform. There's only 2 other big ones, but there's tons of them. But these are like the big ones. Does anybody have any questions on that or anything yet? Okay. Keep going. And so I really just wanted to say some best practices for social media in general. So that first one, like I said, would be, you know, really knowing where they're hanging out at, and like how you can engage with them, because that's the biggest one I probably see, where people just aren't sure where their ideal customers are hanging out at. And then being consistent, that is probably, I says the biggest, if not like those two are neck and neck, because a lot of time, it takes a little bit of time to plan out social media. So it's hard for a lot of business owners to be consistent. So you try to aim for 3 to 4 posts per week, and then utilize stories as much as you can. All of the platforms like Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Pinterest as well, they all have stories now. So those are those short clips that only last 24 hours. So it's not the same as like a news feed post. And utilizing that tool within those platforms will help your reach on your regular posts. So if you use them together, you'll reach more people and get more engagement. And you can create a monthly calendar and schedule your posts. Like that might seem hard to kind of think of a month's worth of things, but once you sit down and kind of like you don't have to write out your posts like the entire post, but if you can even kind of put ideas like, oh, hey, we're having, say you're like a brewery or something, we're releasing a new beer here. So I should probably put 3 posts before that to let people know. You could also do like a recipe that goes with a different beer that you have, local events, a meme, something like that. And if you kind of sit there and start planning out your posts, at least generally, it takes a lot of the stress off and you kind of feel like you're ahead of it. And so then that's just a great way to know what's coming up. And so it's not overwhelming and it's easier to be consistent that way. You could also get a scheduling app like Later or Buffer or Sprout Social. And even Facebook, you can schedule straight into the platform. So you don't have to worry about going and posting like on a certain day. You have all your posts kind of like ready to go. So that relieves a lot of stress too. Complete your profiles. Those are technically like online listings as well. So, and it just, looks better when you have the whole thing filled out and, the algorithm likes it too. And try to have, like a professional photo or your logo somehow, and then all of your information. So it's easy for them to find you. You can just make sure to use engaging images, videos, and copy that will kind of resonate with your followers and create that connection and, them wanting to learn more and keep following you and things like that. And you engage daily. So even if you were to schedule your posts, I still advise people to go in. You can set a timer on your phone and like 10 minutes in the morning, 10 minutes in the afternoon, and just get in the platform, whichever one it is, or multiple ones, and spend a little bit of time in there because it shows the algorithm, like they call it warming up your algorithm. You can do it before you post or before your posts go up, and then stay on for a few minutes after. So if anybody comments, you can comment right back. It just shows activity on your part. So it just, again, really helps with that reach and engagement on your posts. And then using appropriate hashtags and the amount on different platforms, because, Instagram, you can use up to 30 hashtags. And Facebook, they advise like 1 to 3, same with LinkedIn. So you just want to make sure they're just essentially research tools. So whatever you want people to find you for, or whatever your article's about, who your kind of ideal customer is, or your location, different kind of things like that. You really want to like map out how many you want to use and which ones you're going to use them for, and just make sure you're using the right amount on the different platforms. And another big one is looking at your analytics. Like you can look at your different social media posts and see how well they did. You can see what people are engaging with and like what day, what time. It'll show you when like your followers are most active. And so it's just really good to see, because that gives you a good idea of what they're liking to see. So you don't want to make all of your content that, but you can start putting more of that into your strategy. Maybe you can, do more posts, but you're able to add more of those certain types of posts into your social media strategy. So that's just like a really good one to look at too. And on all of the different platforms, as long as you have like an Instagram, you have to have like a business account. Same with Pinterest. And then that way you can look up your different analytics. So that's just a great way, yeah, like I said, to to know what they're liking and to be able to create more of it. And so this is another one. People get really, I feel like, not sure what to post. So I'm gonna switch out my screen because, and I can send this to it. And Angie, if you want the slides to this and these two PDFs that I'm about to pull up to send to everybody, that's, I don't mind sending them too. So just, there's that. Okay. So these are like, the idea was, 31 topics, kind of different ideas, enough content to get you through like a whole month's worth of content. So motivation, inspiration, people, where'd that go? Sorry about that. Oh, and I see there's a chat. Let me see.
Somebody asked a question.
Oh, yes, please. Yeah, I will definitely give Angie the slides and these resources. Okay. So motivation, inspiration, people love those. Those are probably one of the top engaging ones that I see. And like Monday motivation hashtag, that's just kind of an example of a hashtag you could use. Monday vibes, there's all kinds, like once you get into like a hashtag strategy, which could be like a whole different presentation. But yeah, motivation, inspiration, local news topics or like an event, humor, memes, those by far get the most shares and engagement of any social media that I've ever seen for any company that I've ever done it. People just like to laugh, and especially I think during this last year and a half, they've become even more popular. Share a link back to your newest blog or services on your website, industry news topic, some, kind of breaking news within your industry. Ask a question. People love answering questions. So for instance, like what's your favorite book and why, or best place to eat in town? What's your favorite red wine? Things like that, just to get the conversation going. And when the algorithm sees that they're responding, it's going to push it out to more people. Plus it's just fun. You get to, kind of have a conversation with your followers. Share something going on in your business right now. That could be like a new product, a new service, behind the scenes type thing. Introduce yourself and team members, share your story, create a video showcasing your business, like where you're located inside, say you have inventory coming in, things that we think might be boring, people actually really want to see because it just helps them connect with you more and they love that transparency. You can create an easy contest. Like for example, share this post for a chance to win a $10 Starbucks card or gift card somewhere. You can go live on the various platforms. I think you can go live on all of them, probably not Pinterest, but all the others, to discuss a current event, industry news, upcoming special. Again, say it's like a specialty beer you're creating or like a new item on the menu if you're a restaurant, something like that. Share something on your mind. You could use those mixed grids, or you can see now too, the people that have kind of like the people that look like themselves or like they have the different colors. So it's just kind of a way of mixing it up, but not having it just be like a blank post of just text. Create a short video on a popular question you get asked often. People really like, I'm sure you get common questions in whatever business that you're in. So people just like hearing the answers to that because it's usually on their mind too. Ask your followers what their biggest hurdle is. How can you help them with it? Offer a tip that you often help people with. Share another local business, referral partner, nonprofits post. Announce an upcoming special or event. Share something you'd like to include, achieve, add in your business in the future. Thank your followers for following and supporting you. Share an achievement in your business, like if you're a realtor, closing day with a picture of your clients. Share something semi-personal if you're comfortable with it. If not, that's cool too. But again, people just really like to see even that face behind the business. It's like a family selfie, hike in the woods, date night. Ask your followers what they would like to see in your business and or social media. Local business spotlight, upcoming holidays, seasonal stuff, like countdowns to Christmas. If you're from Louisiana like I am, a fun Mardi Gras post, favorite holiday recipe, things like that. National hashtag day. Some of them are just ridiculous, but some are kind of fun and people, you can also ask them to like share a picture if it was like their national pizza day, or national rosé day, like what's your favorite rosé? Another way to kind of get that conversation going. Do a throwback Thursday or flashback Friday. Share old pictures of you or the business or something similar. Like people love those posts. You could do a sneak peek of an upcoming product service event, share a testimonial from a happy customer. Yeah, an easy way you can brand it with your logo on canva.com. That's a super easy platform. That whole presentation I just did was done on Canva. So much easier than Photoshop. So there's just really fun ideas there too. That's a whole other thing you could just dive into because they have templates for all the different social media platforms. Create a simple infographic showing a step-by-step process, helpful info or just a checklist. Share an important statistic. For example, 50% of all mortgages don't make it to closing, and share how you can help avoid that, like if you were a realtor. Share your latest newsletter and explain why they should be on your list. They get discounts, they get exclusive offers, they're the first to know, and like a link to sign up. That's a fun way to grow your email list, because even though we're talking about social media and social media is awesome, like if the algorithms change or whatever happens, like in say you built everything on Instagram and that all goes away, you would still have an email list to fall back on, and you own that, and you could communicate with them that way. But yeah, I won't get off topic on that. But and then you can reuse these categories multiple times throughout the month. You can use a new topic, image, caption. So there's all kinds of different topics to do. And then this is the resources that I mentioned as well, that like for scheduling tools, those are all different options, and they're all super user-friendly and easy to get going and very inexpensive. They used to all have free options, but I don't think they do. But I think it's like $10 a month. Video, these are a few different options of like different apps that you can use to take videos with inside your business or out or wherever you are to just start creating easy video content. If you don't have a ton of images like for your business, but you want to start posting and you don't really have anything to share with it, these are two great places to get photos that are done by like real photographers. They're not like super stock photo-y, and they're free. So you can go there, you can Google, trying to think, like craft beer or like restaurants or whatever, like new moms, anything you can think of that they all have a search bar in them, and it'll pull up all these different images. And some of them do have video too. So if you wanted to start incorporating a little bit of video while you don't have any right now, you could, search all of their videos and also use that on social. And then here's two as well. They're paid subscriptions. And they are a little bit more stock photo-y, but say if you're like, for instance, like lawyers or things like that are a little bit more like professional, you might want to look into Deposit Photos or iStock. A link creator, you can, I knew I linked that. Like say you have like just post a new blog, or you want to share a local article or something like that, and it has a really ugly URL that you don't really want to put in your Facebook post, you can go and you can type in bit.ly and you can put the long ugly URL in there, and then you can shorten it. And then so it's just like a really neat small link. So you can put that in your post just to make it a lot cleaner. And these are just some miscellaneous ones that I use. Grammarly, it checks your grammar and just lets you know, as you're typing things that are wrong. Fiverr is like cheaper freelancers that they do a wide variety of projects. So say you wanted to make an ebook or, some piece of content or things like that. Or if you have like a podcast and you need it editing, they have so many different jobs and they start at $5. So that's just like another good resource. Graphics to create them, like I said, canva.com, all kinds, so many different social media, and just a wider variety of different things that are already like pre-made almost. And then this Venngage, that's for creating really simple infographics. So if you wanted to like kind of make a schematic or an infographic of more like a tutorial type kind of post, that's a great place. Then they have a bunch of free templates as well. And then these are also just really helpful marketing and a lot of social media too. Resources, HubSpot, Moz, Gary Vaynerchuk, Social Media Examiner. I would get on their newsletter. I'm on their newsletter. So if you're not, I would like advise that, because they send out emails each week of like updates to all the platforms, new platforms, best practices. So that's just like a really great thing to really learn a lot about social media, because it's constantly evolving. And then the Content Marketing Institute, also just really great blogs on a wide variety of all kinds of topics. I think that might be my last one. Yeah, and I was just gonna open it up, like I said, for Q&A for the last 20-25 minutes or so. Because yeah, it's social media is like a lot, but I just really wanted to share that, like, to be consistent and to be where they are, and to use and create posts and content that resonates with them, and starts that conversation, because people buy from people that they know, like, and trust, and social media is a great place to get in front of them and start that relationship. So yeah, thanks for having me. My website is nb.marketing. There's no .com. And my email is nicole@nbmarketing. So if you have any questions, or, you know, later when you're thinking about this presentation, you're like, wait, what did she say? Feel free to reach out, and I will totally share whatever I can to help.
Thanks, Nicole. That was great. Does anybody have any questions on any of this, or any, you want to dive a little deeper into, you have a question about a specific platform that you want to ask Nicole?
I guess I have one sort of general question, and I was thinking when you were talking about getting on to see what people are engaging with and that sort of thing, do you ever see a disconnect between what's popular and gets a lot of engagement versus, is that a different population of people sometimes than the clients you're after? You know, because some people sort of live on social media, but if you're a business, you're obviously targeting a certain demographic. How do you figure out whether the engagement you're seeing is the people that you really want to be active? I'm not saying that very well, but maybe you sort of understand what I'm trying to.
Yeah, like, do you mean like if there's like trending things going on, and if you kind of post about that, if they're engaging, or if they're really just engaged?
He would be, this sort of a silly little example, but if there's a difference, like suppose you're a restaurant and you see lots of engagement, but it's among maybe who aren't really going to go to your restaurant. It's not among the clients, the people who are actually going to come and patronize your business. Do you ever see a difference, or, you know, worry about that? Or I guess I'm just trying to understand if you're creating your strategy and you see engagement, you automatically want to pursue whatever you're seeing activity in, or do you think about that at all? Maybe it's not important. I don't know.
Yeah, no, it definitely is, because in your insights too, you can also see where people, like your highest engaged people are. So if you are trying to be super, you know, like local or in a certain region, you could see if like you're hitting that mark, and if they're not, you know, in your area, then yeah, I would probably start doing things a little differently. Like I would probably like tag the location, you know, or tag different local things. Like for instance, in Instagram, you know, you can do that geolocation on there. And then I would also probably take it a step further and start doing like Google My Business, if it's like a really like brick and mortar and you're trying to get a certain area, because that would just kind of enhance your social media efforts. But if I did notice that like the people, because when you look at the post, it kind of tells you engagement and reach and everything. But if you look at the people, it'll tell you their ages, you know, their sex, where they're from. So if that wasn't quite in line with what I was trying to do, then I'd definitely change my messaging and start trying to do some of those more localized like activities within the post.
Okay, so you can sort of see that demographic information of who's engaging, and that's how you judge whether you're really hitting your target or not.
Yeah, totally.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, and you can also see that on your website. Like if you were to take it a step further too, it'll break down all of that information too. And you can also see what sources they're coming from, and you could pull up the social media and then also, again, kind of break that down a little more granular just to make sure you're getting the right people.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Can paid social media ads help you know, you can target your audience through paid social media ads as well. Is that helpful? To get more people in your target audience? Yeah,
it can, because you can like you said, put it like a certain mile range. I mean, this is kind of like, I'm not an ad specialist, and they can go way deeper into like really, really getting super granular on getting the right people to come to your page. But yeah, like you could do, I've done different promotions with different clients where they're trying to kind of create that brand awareness in their area. So they're kind of casting a wide net just to, again, their goal is brand awareness, not so much like sending them to like a certain website or converting them to something. But yeah, those can be super helpful and pretty inexpensive too. I do know some of like the updates for Apple are changing some of the way the pixels and everything are with the ads. So I do know there's like some kind of something going on there. I wish I had more technical terms to tell y'all, but yeah, if you do it organically too, you really can get a lot of reach and engagement. So yeah.
I'm going to jump in with one more question if nobody else has something. Mary, did you want to ask?
Yeah, I have one question. And I seem to remember a few years ago that there was some kind of an app where if you had something that you wanted to post to multiple platforms at once, that you could do that. Does that still exist, or do you advise against that if it does?
Yeah, no, they do. Those were on the resources that I was saying, like Buffer, Sprout Social, Later.com. They're scheduling apps, and you can, integrate them with all of your social media channels. So you could just put one post and have it go out to all of your different channels. The only thing that I would suggest, like I was saying, is to still get in there manually and engage, just so the algorithm sees it. Because if they just see posts going out and no like engagement on your side, or people comment back and they don't see anything, then they're gonna that reach isn't gonna go very far. And so it's kind of like, well, what's the point? You know what I mean? But yes, okay. They can. But I would just still encourage you to hop on once or twice a day just to get some activity on that platform.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Yeah.
So how do you handle the trolls? How do you handle negativity on your social media page?
Yeah, well, luckily there is the hide button. So there's that. But yeah, it depends on what they say. Yeah, I guess, you know what I mean? It's kind of like, well, I mean, if they're not nasty or anything like that, I'll usually just hide them. Sometimes we've had to block people because they just won't stop. But when you do try and reach out, sometimes that doesn't help either. So really, there's just a little hide button on their comments that is usually probably the way that it's handled most of the time.
I have one more question, and it just kind of popped in my head, so I'm going to try to actually put it into words and not just in my head. So I represent a government agency, and through Oregon government, anything that we produce is subject to public retention laws, and this is now including social media. I have sat in some kind of webinars through a company called Archive Social, which will archive your social media networks. Are you aware of any other resources that would be similar to that? Unfortunately, Archive Social, I've even told them, is a wonderful thing. It's just a price point that we can't justify for being such a small agency.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've worked with a few. I know different industries have different regulations as what they can post. I was talking to a local company last week, and they do a lot of musical stuff, and Broadway kind of stuff, and we have to go through all of their contracts just to make sure that they even have the license or whatever to be able to share that on social. Do you guys have anything like that you could refer to?
We don't have anything like that. We just have to be able to, if somebody were to come and say, hey, I need to see all of the posts that you made in July of 2014, we have no method to produce those records for them.
Okay. It would take a long time, but what platforms are you guys on? You can go back and look at all of your different posts, but that's not a very quick or fun task.
Currently, we're just on Facebook, and we have our own website.
Okay.
The website's easy for us, but
yeah,
Facebook's a little more challenging.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the only thing I could think of because I haven't really worked with any like archive, or if you guys had like a social publisher, like that would be another place where it would be saved. But again, you just kind of have to like go back and dig through those posts, but they are there. But I don't know of any other program that could do that quickly.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay, thank you.
And that it's called Archive. You know what I would do too? I would probably Google like Archive competitor or, you know, something like that, just to see if there's other options out.
Does the use of emojis and things like that help your engagement or help the algorithms, or what about emojis?
Out there that are cheaper, because a lot of times when I like, it also depends on who you like, what your business is or agency and who you're talking to. Like if people don't like emojis and they don't like that kind of added flair or whatever, then I wouldn't use it. So again, it really like all of it goes back to like who you're trying to reach, where they are and what they like to consume. Because that's the thing too, you could do different posts, but say somebody likes to consume video posts, but if you're only doing picture posts, then they're not going to engage as much, and vice versa. You know what I mean? So it really is kind of honing in on who you're talking to.
I'm wondering, Nicole, if you have any information or would know of kind of a variety of demographic information. I mean, obviously the census reports, but then if there's any other places that you like to look for specific demographic information.
Yeah, even if you just started Googling, you know, social media demographics, like there's all kinds of studies that'll come up that'll really break down those numbers. Like that one that I had too, and like I said, I'll give Angie the slide so you can look through it because there's a lot of information there. There's a lot of information out there and some really great resources. The other one would be HubSpot's, what do they call it? State of Marketing Report. And they do that every year, and they comb through not just social media, but all kinds of digital marketing activities. And they really just give an update on all the different like trends and demographics and best practices. So that's another really good one. It's a lot of information, but it's pretty interesting.
Thanks.
Yeah, you're welcome.
If everybody, if you want to receive all of the materials that Nicole had on her presentation today, if you want to put your email address in the chat, I'll make sure that those go out to you. So just do that before we log off. And is there any other last questions? Well, Nicole's a great resource for us, and she does some social media for us here at the Chamber and for visiting Stevenson. So she's always a great resource, and I think we're going to follow up with some more lunch and learns with Nicole. So if you have any ideas of what would be helpful, just also you can shoot those suggestions to me, Angie@Skamania.org. Just shoot me some suggestions of topics you'd like Nicole to cover, and we'll schedule some future lunch and learns with her because she's very knowledgeable in the area. So, well, thank you all for attending, and looks like we're going to get done a little early. So appreciate your time, and I'll make sure everybody gets those materials.
Well, this was super fun. Thanks for having me, Angie.
Yeah, thanks for coming.
Yeah.
Thanks to everybody.
Thanks, Nicole. Much appreciated.
Yeah, very good.
Awesome.
Thank you.
Have a great day.
Have a good
Thanks,
day.
you too. Take care.
Thanks, Ange.
Sure.